found The Naked Truth. Lively discussions about business, marketing, and personal development for small business owners. No hype, just help.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to a Wednesday where Walmart decided that everybody's gonna have masks. We're not gonna get into the philosophical debate. We'll just let you know.
Well, then what'd you bring it up for?
So everybody knows if you go to Walmart, you're gonna have to put a mask
That's true.
now.
You do need to know. If you go to Walmart now, you got to wear a mask. They just made the rule.
Yeah.
They said masks. Starbucks, same thing. Starbucks is now saying if you want to go in and sit down, you can, but you got to wear a mask.
Gotta wear a mask.
It's the new trend.
You're gonna drink
right?
your coffee through a straw
Yeah, you
in a
have
hole.
you can have coffee stains on your.
You have to have a mask.
People will be like, "You were at Starbucks." You'll be like, "No, I wasn't."
You're gonna put the straw underneath, coffee with a straw. Insanity. So if you have any, so forget all that stuff. Today we're talking about how we are running our daily show. Before we do, I want to remind you all the Wheel of Names, where you can get your name on the wheel and find out what we're giving away this Friday when you join us. So
Filling up nicely.
yeah, right? We know what we're giving away this time, and it's awesome. So a lot of people are going live, and they find it exhausting. They find that going live takes a lot of time and effort, and so they do it once a week or twice a week. And we want to make your life easy and kind of show you how we go live every day. So we actually have a process, and the reason why we have a process is because Mr. Paul Ramsey.
So we actually have a process.
We do.
Like, we don't just roll out of bed and whatever. We actually have a process.
We actually have a process that you set up. Because when I was doing this for myself, my process for myself, I don't have to have a process. I just do it, right? But when it's a team.
And as a former teacher, I'm very process oriented. So yes, but this is a great example of like how a process can be really simple, right?
It's very simple.
It's not like we're not using Slack. We're not like coordinating with Bitrix 24. We just have a couple simple things, right? Which I think
we
is
got
great.
Facebook Messenger and text.
Right? Yeah.
We do, yeah. So the first thing that we found, if you're doing live streaming with someone else, with a team, the first thing that we found is like a way of communication, right? Paul is mostly on Facebook. And so every time I want to communicate with Paul, I go to Facebook and I send him a messenger text. And every time he wants to communicate with me, he texts me, right? If it's right away, if you just want to wait until I respond, he does it on Facebook. But if he wants immediate response, is text.
So that's important though, like really, like, folks, don't take for granted what Ifat is saying, because it's important. Is she's recognizing that we had a conversation about what's the best way to reach you when I really need to reach you, right? And so she said, you're more likely to get a quick response from me if you text me than by messaging me on Facebook. Whereas I'm like, most of the day I'm sitting in front of my desk. If you message me on Facebook, it pops right up. So, we figured out like that's how you get quickest response. So I think if you're going to be working with someone on a regular, do that. Definitely do that and get it up as an expectation early on. You'll be glad. You'll get quicker response from each other, and you'll feel like you're being more attentive to each other.
That's right. And communication is very, very big, especially when you are working as a team. So communicating with each other, quick response. I think in our world today, we kind of like expect what, like 1, 2, 3 minute response?
Right, we really do. Yeah.
Yeah. So when that doesn't happen, the other side starts feeling like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, something is not responding to me. What's going to happen? Are we going to be ready on time? So find your way of communication first, right? Second thing that we decided is our flow. What are we going to talk about every day of the week? Because we're going live every day. We kind of set a structure where Monday we have Monday musing, Tuesday we have Tuesday tools, Wednesday we get your question answered, Thursday we're talking about a book, and Friday we're just doing happy hour. And we just had a fun conversation about that one, right? Kind of like.
Yeah, and remember when we started, we didn't have it right away. Like we went probably almost the first full month. No, maybe like a good 2 weeks, right? We went a good 2 or 3 weeks, and we were like, we talked about how we wanted to keep coming up with ideas. And we were like, well, if we just had a structure that we could reproduce. And I think that's the key thing is you don't have to do it as literally as we were like a day, but have certain things. If you create structures that are easily reproducible, you just feel better. You feel like you get into I definitely feel like we have a nice rhythm, right? We can look ahead and say, we can set articles aside for Mondays. We have a list that we keep with tools. So we've got 2 more months of tools lined up.
Right. So we put everything right here on a Google Sheet, right? And basically every time we found like a really interesting article, we put it down here. And then we have a list of tools and we have future ideas that we can talk about.
Right. There's
examine. Right.
So that's a 2-page document in Google Drive, so we can collaborate in real time with each other. The first page is the now page. The second page is the future page. So they look almost the same, but they're not. So that second page is us getting out ahead. And then the first page is what in a lot of show production, you have what's called a rundown, right? So you want to have every episode a rundown of what you're going to go through. And so a lot of days, like on our Tuesdays, it's 1 tool. On Thursday, it's 1 book. So our rundown is a 1-item thing on a lot of the days. But on Mondays, those of you who watch us know, some Mondays we talk about 6 or 7 or 8 articles. So that's where if you're going to do something that has that feel to it, you need a rundown. Even if you have I've been guest on podcasts and stuff before, and they may have a guest, but they may open with some current events. So you could have a rundown that's 2 or 3 items consistently, or you could just focus on one thing. But it's better to plan, I think.
Yeah, we got I'm clearly joking on Twitch saying "Hola, mama." So hola, clearly joking.
Stop calling me mama, but hola anyway.
So we're not doing PR. We are talking about how we're running live shows daily. And guys, if you want to have a conversation about your own show, hop on in here, BeTheNakedTruth.com/live, and you can hop in here and we'll talk about your own live stream. So first of all, we figure out how to communicate with each other. Second, we decided what's going to be our flow, like what are we going to do every day? And I think that is the hardest thing for people. It's like, what am I going to talk about every day? So it's very, very easy. Well, it's easier when you have a partner that you can kind of like brainstorm with and discuss and go back and forth and go like, is this working? Is this not working? How are you feeling? We have like our own internal bets of which day is going to become more popular.
That's right.
Right? We talked about Tuesday being the one, but as we're watching, it's kind of like different. Mondays are becoming the most.
Yeah, Mondays have done pretty well, and Tuesdays have not done as well as I thought they would do. Yeah. Tuesdays are a little more hit and miss. So that's the other thing is, if you do what we did and you create a structure, don't assume that you're going to we don't even assume we're going to stay to that structure forever. Like we could get to a point where we've got about 3 months of episodes under our belt now. So like we're going to go back and look. And if Tuesday Tools just isn't working the way we thought it would, then we'll change it. Right. Yeah. Or Thursdays, Thursdays has been a little weird because we haven't actually done that many book reviews because that's also the day that Ifat sometimes has her I'm That Geek. So like we missed 3 Thursdays in a row because of the way her scheduling worked out, which is fine. It doesn't, but then you have a hard time evaluating like, is Thursday working or not, So there's stuff like that, be willing to flow with it, be willing to adjust it. I think
be a little bit more, and like Paul was saying, we're trying to stay consistent, but things happen, right? So once in a while I have my show or, I don't know, things will happen. We had to move our show to evening a few times.
You had that one week where you had a client, right? So we did all our shows on evenings, and that was fine. Yeah.
So everything is dynamic.
That was good because it gave us a chance to test what other people do we tap into in an evening slot as opposed to an early afternoon slot. Right. And we did find that we were getting different engagement. There was a whole other segment of people that were watching us at 6 o'clock at night than there were at 2 Eastern. So that was another interesting thing that actually in some ways I'm like, we should keep doing that sort of. Not
Yeah,
too
we
much.
will. Actually, we will, because next week I'm launching my challenge. And
Oh,
that's
that's
going to be a
right.
full day thing, right? So you and I need to talk about that.
All
So
right.
the beauty of this is that because it's live, it can be very dynamic and very flexible. And if you're starting a live show, don't feel like you have to be stuck to a structure, and like stick with it forever and ever and ever. The beauty of live is that you get dynamic feedback right away, and you can like see what's going on and how people react and how they interact. So it's easier. So after we set up our structure, our weekly flow, right? We decided what day is going to be what. Now we have to set up the lives on all the platforms that we're going to be streaming to. And so what we do is we first of all we go to Canva after we decided what the topics are, and we basically create thumbnails. So yesterday we talked about Canva and how to set it up, and so we have our set thumbnails already in Canva, and we just update the date and the topics. And this is what we're doing today. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to win friends and influence people. And we're just changing those thumbnails so that when we create them in YouTube, we're creating the shows in YouTube, then we already have everything done. And these thumbnails, when I remember, I put them on the website and they become the website's thumbnail for the previews. So we're always driving you. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is something that was a real learning experience for me, is how people can approach things differently. Like when I thought about having thumbnails, I really thought about just have a thumbnail that you just use over and over and over again, and that you don't update. Whereas if I was like, no, we need to, and so she's making these thumbnails that she puts the dates on them, and she puts sometimes a different graphic, like Tuesday Tools. She puts what the tool is on it and stuff. And I would never have thought to do that. I would have just made like a Tuesday's Tools thumbnail that didn't have any specific identifying stuff, and I would have reused it over and over and over again. So that's sometimes where that's the little things of like, what do you want to do? How do you want to get into that? Do you literally just want to have, this is the thumbnail for my show and it goes on every single thing? Or do you want to do a set of thumbnails? Or when we first started, if I was making a new thumbnail every day, and I was like, you're crazy, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Like, that's way too much work. And so I had to literally talk her out of it. She was like, why? And I was like, because that's just crazy.
It's a lot of work. And just so you know, having a partner that kind of like, is able to come in and say like, hey, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible because we're going to go back every day and we're going to do this. And we both have businesses that we run. So let's see how we minimize the amount of effort that it takes to put that. Is very helpful. So when you're partnering up, what I like about our relationship is like, we're completely different, right? Paul is very methodical. He's a professor. He's very good with like systems. And I'm kind of like, let's just do it. So it's very good. We're balancing each other very, very well. When you're picking up a partner, like, recognize these differences and similarity between the two of you and divide the work. Right? I'm used to doing everything myself, and having a partner that takes on part of it is so awesome. It's really, really helpful because it kind of like frees your mind from worrying about other stuff. And so in our relationship, I set up the dynamic stuff like the thumbnails and the YouTube videos, and then Paul takes care of the website and sets up the pages and sets up the links and allows you to come in and interact with us in real time.
So whenever it doesn't work, you know whose fault it is now.
What's that?
I said, so whenever it doesn't work, whenever you go to the website and the link doesn't get you where you ought to be, you know that's Paul.
And if you can't watch it on the site, no, I'm kidding.
When you can't watch it, you go, oh, apparently Paul's been drinking again. Yeah, but it's all right.
Exactly. So that's it. So then after the thumbnails are done, and the YouTube events are set up in YouTube, then Paul takes that and he sets it up on our website, and we have a page for each of our shows. If you haven't realized that by now, I'll show you. So we have on our website, we have a page for every show that we have. So if you're missing a show, you can come to past shows, and each one of them is right here. And if you don't see a thumbnail, it's because I forgot to upload them and Paul didn't have any to use. So Paul is the one setting all this stuff up, and he's also setting them up, and he organizes them based on what it is that we're talking about. So you can see, you can click it and you can see, and then you can go directly to our post and you can watch the video right here.
So here's some, if I stay on this and just let me talk over, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want you to show. So this is some really cool stuff that I learned from Ifat that I think if you're looking to get into this. So one thing is, I didn't have a clear structure in my head of like, if I had done this on my own, I would have been like, how do I set up the architecture of like live page versus archive page? And so I think that's one thing, if you want to look at our site, that Ifat has done really well. I mean, really what she did was she set it up so that they're blog pages, really, like every episode is a blog post. And then within WordPress, you know, it all just goes on the blog page, and they're easily organized that way. So I would definitely recommend replicating that. I think the only thing that's weird is if for some reason you had a site where you actually wanted to write blog articles and do lives, then it wouldn't look quite the same, because the page would have articles and videos.
Oh, so I'll show you how we set it up in our on our site. So on am.geeks, we have the replays page. So here you'll come in and you'll watch all the replays of all the shows that we've done. So if you click on any of this, you're going to come in here and you'll watch the replay right here. And if you want to see the blog,
those actually just pages, Ifat? Are those literal WordPress pages in that way?
Posts, right?
They're posts. So they're still posts.
They're still posts, right? So you're going to come in here and you'll watch the replay, and the replay is updated with comments and everything that's, you know, that's good. And then if you want the articles that we wrote about that, then you go to our blogs, and now you have all the other blogs and everything else. So you can set up your post to be anything that you wanted to, kind of like what you've done here, Paul, where you you set them up for Friday wrap up, Mondays, right? So you can have one for blogs, and then that just goes on the blog.
Right. So we created categories the way you would for a blog post, only we just made categories for the episodes that match the days with a couple wildcard options. And that way they all got categorized in ways that could be, you know, tracked and found. Ifat, show them the pretty links thing. I never even knew this existed until we worked on this project together.
So do you want me to log in?
If you want, what do you think is the best way to show them so they get it?
Yeah, so for example, right now, if we go to the live, because the live page changes every day, we have to create a redirect that will go to our live page. So I'm just going to put it on you for a second, and you chat, and then I'll log in.
So this is a small, it's really sort of a small thing once you know it, but I totally didn't know it. And I was like, oh, so if I created that front page where the live video is embedded on the front page, and it's like, okay, but the live video changes 5 days a week for us. How do you change all that and make it work? And so what she does is she uses a plugin called Pretty Links, and Pretty Links lets you have a link that, I don't even know how to explain it.
So it basically redirects. So what happens is we created a link that's called Be the Naked Truth /live that you can see here. I think I can go to the end of it. So you can see this is live. And then every day before we create our show, we basically update the redirect link here. So the target URL, so every time someone goes to live, this live link, right, they're going to go to the URL that we want them to. So,
okay, so what they feel like they're going to the live page, but they're not, right? It's redirecting them to the post page for that episode.
Right, and so you guys can test this, right? That's why all we have to say is come here, bethenakedtruth.com/live, and that will always redirect you to today's episode, not yesterday's, not tomorrow's, right? Always today.
So what you see on the front page is just a button that says join us live, and you click on it, and in your head most people are naturally going to think you're going to the live place, but really where you're going is to the post page for that exact episode, and you, unless you're really watching the URL in the top, you would never know.
Right, the URL will change. Yep, that's right. The other cool thing about this one is that it kind of like tracks how many clicks you're getting. So you can see we got about 889 people have been clicking on our live page. So it's a great way to kind of create a pretty link, you know, not this whole URL that like, no, hey, get over the hump live stream link.
Right.
And you can click on this one. It will kind of show you the traffic, who clicked, when people are coming in, and you can kind of, and it will give you their IP, and you can see where people are coming from, and when they're coming from, and when they're clicking, and all that jazz. And you can see like where they came from to our. We have a Yahoo person. I was like, Yahoo still exists. People still use it.
So now the other thing we should probably talk about is hosting, right? Like, these videos don't get hosted on our website. We put them all on a YouTube channel. So technically, we're trying to grow a YouTube audience at the same time that we're trying to bring traffic to our site.
That's right. We're growing YouTube, we're growing Facebook, we're growing Twitter, we're growing LinkedIn on a good day. Today's not a good day. So on a good day, we're growing LinkedIn too, and Twitch. And we're streaming everywhere we can stream. So again, the whole point is don't build your home on rented properties. So you guys see us everywhere, but we always tell you, come here and engage with us here, because that's where we can follow up with you, right? We can build a relationship with you. We know that you're actually there. And if we were to take it to the next level, we will retarget you and mention to you on all your profiles that like, hey, we're live, come engage with us. And that's stuff. So
now the last part of it, which is really the most technologically complex part, so I'm gonna let you explain it, but you know, the reason that we're able to do all that is this is the like secret sauce that you bring to the whole thing, right? Is so you've got this whole tech setup that most people don't have.
Right.
How do you explain that succinctly
to the naked so to the naked so if you're just starting out with live streams, you want some kind of a production, right? Up until what was like 7 months ago, I think, you didn't have many options. But now that everybody kind of stuck at home, and people are moving more towards live streaming, there are many apps that you can use in order to do that. One of them, the easiest one of all, is StreamYard. And we have an episode talks about StreamYard that you guys can go and watch. And I think it's our most watched episode yet. So you can go and watch how to use StreamYard to stream. Super easy. If you actually want hands-on experience with StreamYard and you want to start streaming with some support, watch my channels, because I'm going to show you how I can train you to do that in like 5 minutes. Super easy. Coming up next week to a computer near you. So StreamYard is super easy. It will stream to all your platforms with one click. You'll look pretty professional. Gary Vaynerchuk is using it, so it's not just for people starting out. It's the easiest way, most comfortable way to get started. There's a free version, there's a paid version. The paid version is not expensive. It's like $10 a month or something. And you can use that. So that'll be enough for you. If you want more destinations to stream on, then you can get Restream. And now you'll pay for Restream $15 a month, and you can stream to more destinations. But seriously, if you're just starting out and you just want to stream on multiple platforms, StreamYard is your friend. You can do it from your phone because it's browser-based. You can do it from your computer. Doesn't take a lot to do that. What I'm doing right now, I'm doing full production. So I'm the producer of the show. I'm the tech person of the show. I'm taking engagement and comments, and I'm hosting with Paul. Most people, you know, having to run all this stuff at one time is very, very difficult. I've been doing this for 8 years, so I'm gradually kind of like got into doing that. But now I have 8 years of experience of doing this, so it's very easy for me. Someone else who's like, if you're just starting out, then worry just about being a good host, let the technology be as easy as possible, and just use StreamYard. It's the easiest one. If you want, Restream also has the same features of StreamYard. So if you wanted to just pay one platform and stream everywhere, Restream might be your friend. That'll be like $15 a month instead of 10. But it has the same. Well, actually, I might be misleading you. Let me see, because I think Restream, you get the live live destinations only if you pay for the top package, I think. So I'll check. Hold on a second. Let's check. Da-da-da-da. Their plans. Plans. We'll do that later because I need to log in and then I need to see it all. But I think, I was like, it's not bringing it very quickly. Let's see. Restream.io. I believe it's like $15 pricing, yes. Okay, so with the standard, which is $20 a month, you can go for free for $0. Let's see if that shares it. No, it doesn't share it. So, $20 a month, you get everything plus one extra destination, and you're not getting the studio. The studio will cost you $50 a month. So you can do that with StreamYard for $10 a month, and you can add Restream if you really want to. But don't get it complicated. StreamYard is fine. Rosa says, I love StreamYard, been using it for a year now. I agree. Wearing all the hats for our live show is a lot when you are just starting out. And Karen there is here saying hi. So hi. So there are many ways to do productions. I always say that the difference between live streaming and pre-recording videos is the live engagement. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Save yourself some time and effort and tech issues and all that stuff. Record a video, upload it, and you're done. But if you're going live, you want to engage with people and talk to them in real time, which is why we're inviting you every day to join us and say hello and talk to us in real time, like Annie did yesterday, like Brian did, like Jason did, like all the good people do. So that's it, right? That's how we run our show. It's not super complicated.
Well, it's not super complicated, but it's more complicated than most people are used to, especially at the level that you're doing it.
Yeah.
I remember when I did a special summer program the summer after my junior year of high school, and it was a communications program, right? Mm-hmm. And I actually was in it with Seth Meyers, right?
Yeah.
It was for New Hampshire high school students. You had to apply to get into this program, and as part of that, we went and we toured our local TV station, the New Hampshire's Channel 9, right? And they took us back into the production room, and again, this is 1991, right? So again, it was a long time ago, but a lot of that is still the case today. Of you go into a control room for a TV station, and there's a producer who is just sitting there telling everyone else what to do, right? They're just talking and saying, right, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then there's multiple people sitting around the room doing it. And Ifat is doing all of that by herself, like just with a mouse and a software program, right? Like that's, and so on the one level you go, that's the amazing time we live in, where you don't have to go pay a production company to do that anymore. If you're willing to learn the skill set and pay for the software, you can do what it used to take an entire TV control room to do on your own, which is amazing. It's totally amazing. But that's a skill set. Like that's a serious skill set to adopt and to master, It's
true. And just to be completely transparent, I'm looking for people who can do what I do. So if you can do what I do, I want to hire you, because I have yet to find someone who I can hire who can do what I do. So it's definitely a good skill set to have. And I think in the future, there are going to be way more people looking for producers. So if that's something that you're geeking out on, right?
I think, you look at, especially now, look at how, we covered this quite a while ago, but we had those news stories about how John Oliver, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, all those guys, right? When they started working from home, they didn't have setups that looked as good as ours, because they only had traditional TV people, and none of them knew how to do the live streaming at home.
And they still don't do live streaming. And they had to sit
around and figure it out.
Right, they don't do live streaming. They record it, right? They record on Zoom, and then someone edits, and then they upload it. It's not live.
Right, so they weren't even doing any of that. So I mean, they're making that transition though too, because of the way everything is going on. They're transitioning to something. I mean, it's clear that people are looking for this stuff, and it's definitely out there. It's I think there's a room for you to, I think you could do pretty well.
Yeah, you can. Rosa says that I love the fact that you can download your live streams or just the audio from StreamYard. Definitely. And turn that. So with one show, right? You have your videos and you have your podcast, and it's fantastic. Karen Dare says, I love to interview you. Me or Paul? We have two U's here. Who do you want to interview? Interview
Only
both of us.
two U's, one Jew. Don't get them confused.
Don't get them confused. So that's it. So tomorrow it's our book day. It is a book day. We're going to talk about a book that Paul read and likes and loves.
Good one.
But in the meantime, we have Rosa on the wheel and Karen there on the wheel, and we have a few more names. We have room for a few more.
Look at
So if you're
that.
watching
We
us
can
right
make
now-
those colors smaller. We can jam a
Yeah.
bunch of names in there still.
Yeah. So
Get on it.
hop on in, talk to us, comment, let us know what you think. Are you running live shows right now? How's that going for you? Is this helpful? Having a structure?
Let me ask you this, Ifat, since you know, I've been doing online content for years, but I haven't been doing it the way you've been doing it. If you work on this all the time, step out of your daily grind and look forward. With everything that's going on now, what do you think is like the next sort of focus or area of development in live streaming? Like,
Oh,
do
great.
you think anything new is going to happen?
A what? Say it again.
And do you think anything new is going to happen?
Yeah, I think with everything that's happening and the lack of trust, right? It's just growing, and deep fake and all those, all the hate that's happening. People will really want a place where they feel like they belong and connect to people. So I actually see a movement to communities outside of Facebook groups and private communities, and people are actually wanting to be connected, but not via text, face to face with other people in communities online. My son, my dad's son told me that my son was crying yesterday that he's not going to be able to go to school. And he said, it's 5th grade. I want my own desk and I want to start the year with my friends. And I miss that, right? And I think like the more we transition to online, the more we crave that social connection. Our kids crave it, teenagers crave it, and all that stuff. So I think we're going to transition to a place where we can connect with each other. And live stream is going to be, Zoom is going to be major.
You know what? I didn't plan on sharing this, but I think it's, you know what I did yesterday? It's a pretty big deal for me. I called my agent yesterday and I told him, I said, just don't book me for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Because I think that with the way the numbers are going, and it's, again, this feels like a digression, but it's not. I'll bring it back. Like you look at the numbers are going up, and the clear thing we all see, right, is that our leaders are well intended. I believe that in my heart, but there's just too much crazy shit going on, and they don't know what to do, right? And one day it's this, and the next day it's that, and we were kind of laughing about it at the front. Is Walmart's now saying you got to wear a mask, and in some ways you think that's good, and then you think, how does the largest retail company in the United States enforce that? Like one of my colleagues just posted right before we went live, she's like, they can't even get people to wear pants, and they had like pictures of people running around Walmart in their bikinis and their underwear and stuff.
Right.
Like they go, how are they going to get them to wear a mask? And there's all this crazy stuff going on. And I saw this morning another example of, there's a big news story about a school district in Missouri that is trying to get the parents to sign waivers for when the kids come back to school, saying if your kid dies, you won't hold us.
Wow.
You won't hold us responsible. And the waiver even had a thing that said, even if we're negligible, you're right.
What parent is going to sign that? Like, why would you
right?
sign
And
that?
that's, well, but what they're doing, this is where people make decisions emotionally, not rationally, right?
Yeah.
So what they're going to do is they're going to say, if you don't sign this, your kid can't play sports. And you have these parents who have watched their kids, just like you said, they've watched their kids shrink.
Yeah.
They miss their friends, they miss their activities, and there have got to be a lot of parents that are really feeling like they need to do whatever they can do to help their kids feel like they have their life again, right? So I think you would think, who would ever sign a thing saying, if you end up killing my kid, I waive your negligence and I won't sue you? There will be parents that will do it though, because they'll take the short-term focus over the bigger issue focus of, I just want my kid to be happy. And
gosh, we can.
So,
Yeah.
but let me just, so I think that's all getting to like there's so much crazy stuff going on and we don't know. And I was like, I love being an entertainer, but I was like, I have no idea if like I can go out this fall and go across the country and first of all, keep myself safe,
right.
But also, how do I keep the people on stage safe? Yeah. I can take measures. I'd like to think I can. I even revised my stuff to say, I did a new technical rider that said, here's what we need to do. But I was like, I just don't feel like in good conscience I can do that. And so I was like, you know what? Don't book me for the rest of the year for entertainment. I'll find another way to bring people value. And so now I'm pivoting over. This goes back to like what we talked with Brian Miller about over a month ago, right? And I'm looking at like, how do I take my experience as an educator, my experience doing this kind of tech work, for my client side of my business, and how do I offer something to colleges where I can help them with this side of it, this people feel disconnected, people feel alone, people feel kind of lost.
Yeah.
So I'm working on something like that right now that I can roll out and do that for colleges instead and do it over this, you know? It's just going to come into live streaming. So here I am, a guy who made my living performing on stage, and I'm really looking at live streaming now as a revenue solution.
Yeah. It's interesting because, we were talking about this yesterday in a different mastermind I'm on, and someone was saying, we have now people with the most self-doubt and the least self-care. And, there's a problem here, right? So everybody here is trying to solve it. I also heard that there are like 2 vaccines that might be ready to release. So who knows, right? Now, make sure that they're fine. And now let's make sure that, everybody's vaccinated, because we also have the vaccine, no vaccine. I think this will be online is going to last for a while, but at least like Philip started saying, right? 12 to 18 months, if not more. So we'll see. So Dean Reynolds says, Paul is mad passionate. This is a great episode. Hey, Fat. Hey, Dean.
Thanks, Dean.
Good seeing you again. So, Dean, you're on our wheel. And tomorrow, if you guys want to talk books, join us tomorrow right here.
We're gonna have a good one. It's going to be good. Whether you're into business or just personal development, it's a beautiful dovetail of both. You're going to like it.
So, hop on in. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's episode, come back and spend more time with us. You could be on the broadcast sharing your thoughts. We hang out live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern at www.bethenakedtruth.com/live.